Looking for good examples of bipartisan cooperation. Our work in the House Financial Services Committee on digital assets is just that. This bill, the FIT for the 21st Century Act, the first ever, regulatory structure for digital assets, is coming to the floor for a vote next week. I was part of a group of 6 Democrats who worked with my Republican colleagues in committee to move this bill. Similar group of Democrats in the Ag Committee as well. So we're going to get a vote next week. I'm very excited because we are operating on a 100-year-old securities law for this industry, and we need to get regulations in place. We need to protect consumers, and that's what this bill does.
I am confident that this legislation, while not perfect, makes the status quo better. What is the status quo? Are we comfortable walking away having done nothing? The status quo is this: $2 trillion in value lost in the crypto asset markets. $2 trillion evaporated in what is a Wild West. An FTX collapse, which might have been prevented by this legislation, that devastated smart and dumb money alike. We don't want to see another FTX collapse. Coinbase, for whom I have no particular love, but Coinbase going to the SEC and saying, we want to register, we want to comply, let us do that. No answer, no answer, no answer, until the SEC initiates litigation against this entity who went to the SEC and said, we want to be regulated. The Ripple lawsuit, which to this day I do not understand. That is the status quo. Utter lack of transparency, total chaos. So what is proposed here is a bill that I think improves upon the status quo. It's no more perfect than the regulatory regime of the United States in the financial services market was in 2008, but it is better than the status quo.
Much like the dawn of the internet, this new technology feels like uncharted territory with immense possibilities. And we're responsible for ushering in this new era in a way that harnesses innovation and ensures consumer protection. Digital assets and blockchain technology have the potential to revolutionize our society. They can grow the economy, foster collaboration, enhance transparency, reduce transaction costs, and increase efficiency. If we fail to act, the SEC's regulation by enforcement will push this industry overseas to places like the Bahamas, where Americans don't have any protections. Listen, Mr. Chairman, I firmly believe in the SEC's mission to protect investors. But for this to be effective, Congress needs to pass legislation with a clear regulatory framework. The last thing we need is another situation like FTX, and my goal has been to ensure that this bill could protect my constituents, and I'm certain that it'll do just that. We can't expect securities laws written almost 100 years ago to work seamlessly with this new technology. And listen, whether you love crypto or you hate crypto, you should support regulations for the industry. The status quo just isn't working, and we can't wait until the next crisis to take action.
And there are legitimate concerns about regulation by enforcement. The SEC has not issued a single rule clarifying the application of securities law to digital assets. There's been no written guidance. We've heard mixed messaging not only between the CFTC and the SEC, but within the SEC itself. The CFTC tells us that Ether's a commodity. The SEC has said that it's a security. Mr. Gensler first said that Ether's too decentralized to be a security. Then he said it was a security, and then under questioning from Chair McHenry, he said that it depends. I mean, if you consider that regulatory clarity, then you live in a different planet for me. I am confused by the mixed messaging, by the lack of rules and guidance that have been provided by the agency. And this legislation is far from perfect, but it represents a good faith attempt to bring clarity to an area where none exists. And I associate myself with the comments of Congressman Himes and Congressman Nickel, and I will support the legislation. I will not let the perfect be the enemy of the good.
This is not a perfect bill, but I believe that it is a good step in the right direction, and I look forward to continuing to work with the majority on improving it. I do not believe that the current situation is acceptable, which is why I'm very supportive of taking necessary steps and following the necessary process to provide further federal oversight over digital assets.